You guys, how are we feeling today? Everyone have a great weekend?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah?
It was good. It was honestly right now I think weekends are the hardest part of the week for me though.
Yeah.
Because I'm like so go during the week and then I have free time and I literally don't know what to do.
Yeah. It's so funny. Welcome to the Bet on Her podcast. It just so also happens to be Valentine's Day tomorrow. But don't fret. I got you guys each something.
What?
Whoa.
Valentine's Day, you guys. First of all, let me just put my sunglasses on.
Whoa.
Stunna shades.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to do this before I announce our guest. Here is one for you. It's a dog for Zuka.
Wait, that's
So
really
cute.
It looks so
Wait, that's
small.
so soft.
And then I have one for Fred.
Oh, Freddie.
It's a cat. And then
What's my animal?
last but not least, because you are a special guest. Let me put the mic up.
I'm nervous kind of. Oh my god.
Oh, it's a unicorn.
It's a unicorn. Yeah, because you
this is
are
my spirit animal.
special.
These are
I am
awesome.
very unique. Thank you.
Yes, you are all unique, very special. And I figured we celebrate Valentine's Day together.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
It's actually so cute.
Yeah,
This is so soft. I'm just going to sit here with it.
I got a beige one because Zuka's beige.
This is perfect. This
I don't know
looks,
what
looks
color.
just like her.
Purple.
Perfect.
Try purple.
Fred is purple.
Fred is purple.
Yeah, welcome to the Bet on Her podcast. Today we have a really awesome special guest. Super excited to have you on here. We have Carly Wopat. Let's give her a round of applause.
Chee, chee, chee.
Clap for myself too.
Sorry. Hyping her up. Hyping her up.
Dude, I love
The
that.
best hype woman ever.
I got you.
Carly is a professional beach volleyball player, an Olympic hopeful, but you have also played professionally overseas, indoor. You've played in France, Turkey, Japan, and China. Am I missing one?
No, that was 4. France, Turkey, Japan, China. Yes, that's it.
And you were also a firefighter. How BA is that?
It's pretty bad.
That is,
Yeah,
I
it
can
is.
curse on here by the way.
yeah, I could just like
beep it out.
beep it out. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
Woohoo!
Yeah, this is
Thank you guys for having me. I'm
Yeah.
so stoked.
Yeah.
I got my shades on. I got my hat on. We got all of our stuffed animals. And we got Carly Wopat.
Yay.
So what have you been up to in terms of training and regimen and that sort of thing?
So, let's say at the end of last year, that's when I really decided to make the transition back into full-time beach volleyball. And it was a really tough decision. It wasn't, I think. I knew when I started firefighting that I wanted to continue playing. And I think part of me was hoping that I could do both careers at the same time. I just wanted to start fire and see where it went, because it is something I am passionate about and had always wanted to dive into. But once I started playing volleyball again, I realized that it was not quite going to be possible to do both careers at the same time, especially because I'm the type of person who likes to just pursue the highest level of excellence and kind of give my best wherever I am. So it was really hard because I couldn't give my best on the volleyball court when I was getting off of a 24-hour shift and just kind of like wrecked. And then if I trained and played all day and then went back on shift the next day, it was hard to give my best there. So I decided to put my focus back on beach volleyball, and I'm really happy with that decision. And I think down the road, I can always go back to firefighting, but I can't play forever. So back to full-time professional
That's awesome.
athlete. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it was definitely kind of a turbulent time, just because I invested so much into that, like 2 years, and really went all in, which is, I think, how you should do anything you really go after. But you can't be afraid to pivot when you change your mind or your heart changes. So I'm really happy I wasn't afraid to do that. And I spent the end of last year competing in AVPs and trying to build up points and just get back out there and kind of get the word out that I was back on the beach and this is something I'm pursuing again. Season wrapped up and I started a preseason lifting program with P3. They're based in Santa Barbara. And then once January hit, that was really kind of the starting line for me in terms of training. So I've been out on the sand nearly every day of the week, Monday through Friday, practicing with the USA group. Jose Loyola and Fiapo have been running practices and they're awesome. And then also training with other teams and playing with a lot of different people. It's been really fun. But yeah, I've just been basically in the preseason training grind for a month and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I kind of want to reverse a little bit.
Okay.
But
That was
first,
a lot.
No. That's awesome. Before I wanted to say that when I saw you doing the firefighting stuff like last year, and I remember watching some of your videos you'd post, and I forget who I was talking to about it, but I was like, I would trust her so much to save my life. Like, are you serious? I would choose her over everybody. So just wanted to say that. I thought it was really commendable what you were doing. And I think it's also commendable for you to put that on pause and to pursue beach volleyball full time. So kind of going back though, like when you were getting into firefighting, I'm interested in hearing more about like the process of like how you even get into that and, you know, what it takes. You know, I know that probably certain hours of things that you have to do. So kind of just hearing a little bit more about what it takes to get into that.
That's a good question because I think a lot of people don't really know how hard it is actually just to get into firefighting. I actually started looking into the job when I was on the indoor national team. I went to a recruitment seminar for LA City because I knew, I don't know, firefighters to me were like real life heroes, but I didn't really know what the job entailed. So I went and just realized that they are literally the first responders to every type of emergency scenario you can think of, whether it be a car accident, some crime scene, heart attack, and then fires. So we're not just putting out fires, we're first responders to everything. And I majored in human biology, so it just really resonated with me because I felt like I could really utilize all of the medical background that I acquired educationally. And then I am just like really physical. I love to get out there and push the limits and kind of like take risks and perform. So as a firefighter, you're literally showing up every day and it's like a competition day. You're performing under pressure. So that just like drew me in and I was like, this is what I want to do. But it's quite a process. So I had to acquire some mentors and talk to so many people about how to go about this. And the first thing I did was get my EMT certification. So I went through a EMT course. It was accelerated a little bit. It took me, I think, a month and a half or 2 months. And I was back in class. I think it was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, all day, which was weird, but I like learning. So, again, I just fell in love with everything I was learning with emergency medicine and felt very much in line with what I feel like I am meant to do. And then got the EMT cert. And then I took 4 fire science and technology courses online, which were prerequisites for a private fire academy. It was El Camino Fire Academy. Got into that fire academy in 2020, I believe. And it was basically 5 months of boot camp, very paramilitary. I was waking up at 3:30 a.m. every day. Arriving at the academy, it was 54 of us, I believe, in my class, and I was the only girl. So,
Whoa.
Props to you.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
so some of it kind of just ran counterintuitive to my personality and how I've learned to be as a professional athlete. Like speaking up and saying what I think, and I had to just learn to not do a lot of that. But it was also very fun because, again, I'm very competitive, and every day was basically a competition because we would do physical training every day, PT, and either in turnouts or in PT gear. And I was just with like a bunch of guys. So they also like to compete, and it was fun to hang out with them and joke around, but also just go through this kind of intense and rigorous process together. You sort of bond. But yeah, there was a lot to learn, both kind of tactically and mechanically with our hands, and then also with books. So there was reading and time in the classroom, and then time out on the field. Graduated from that, and then I became an ambulance operator for Torrance Fire Department for a few months. Cool. Not many people know that, but basically I drove ambulances and transported people, and I worked 48-hour shifts. It was awful.
Wow.
It was actually like pretty bad because we were the first ambulance operator class for them. And we had 3 ambulances and covered all 6 stations of Torrance Fire Department, which means basically we never stopped. So 48 hours, and we were up all night.
Wow.
They let us take naps, thankfully. So could get some rest, but I would get off of shift and just have to go home and crash, and then wake up and I'd feel like a human again.
So you were
That's
like,
so tough.
yeah, that's tough.
It's tough.
How many hours was the longest that you stayed awake for during that shift? I mean, did you go 48 hours straight or?
You literally can't. You work with a partner, so there'd be times where I'd be one's a driver and one's an attendant when you're on an ambulance. So my partner was Sam. He would drive sometimes, and I'd be the attendant. So if we left a hospital after dropping off a patient and we were driving back to the station, I would like take a nap on the way back, because you literally just have to find sleep in whatever little moments you can. It's impossible to stay awake for 48 hours, and it's really dangerous. I mean, we're expected to serve people and be our best in kind of very critical moments. And if you're sleep deprived, it's hard to be able to make those split-second decisions and make the right ones. So, and driving too. I mean, if you're driving sleep deprived, it's dangerous. So there has been a lot of accidents, I think, with first responders who are very sleep deprived. So you find a way to sleep. But the culture is kind of shifting in the direction of acknowledging the importance of sleep. So thankfully, there are some rules and regulations that are starting to move in that direction. Because before, it was kind of like, we don't need sleep, we're tough.
That's tough. I don't know.
When
how to do it.
when I can't or when I don't get enough sleep, I get so sick. I'll start throwing up.
I get nauseous.
Yeah.
So I would be
like-
on shift like
Yeah.
nauseous and delirious sometimes. But moving on from that.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I got hired by LA City Fire Department. A lot of fire departments will put you through their own fire academy, so I actually had to go through another 5-month fire academy, and this one was a lot more intense, and stakes were higher because your job was on the line. There were 74 of us this time, 2 females. Again, I kind of had a blast, though. I liked the fire academies.
Yeah.
It was just fun for me. Even the testing, because there were test days where they would test us on mechanical skills that we'd been learning, and everybody is so stressed out, and I'm like, this is game day. Let's go.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure being an athlete played well into that part.
oh
a
yeah.
bit. And And then I'm assuming too, as being a female, like, did you have any achievements as far as
Firefighting.
yeah?
I remember
Yes,
you mentioned
I actually
something.
I finished as top recruit for both of my fire academy classes.
Heck yeah.
So
That
Is
is-
it on a point scale or?
okay, so everything is graded in academy, which is kind of in your ranked. So you always kind of know the like all the candidates, I guess, are ranked, and you know where you are. But there's, I mean, tests academically, exams pretty much weekly, and your scores matter on that. And then also you're scored with mechanical tests. So they'll teach you like how to throw a ladder. And there's different types of
Wait, pause. You
Yeah.
said throw a ladder?
yes, it's called
Like, do you
No,
just go,
don't- you
yeet?
don't- you don't eat it. You don't eat it.
Okay.
It's fire terminology, but
Okay.
basically you have to take this huge heavy ladder off of the truck, and usually you're gonna throw it by yourself. So it can be like a 20-foot straight ladder and weigh like 168 pounds. Take it off, and then you have to carry it over to the building and put it up safely and effectively in a good spot. And there's all these different standards, like how far away the base has to be from the building. Literally, like, you have to get it in this like inch range or else you fail. Not even a point scale, you get a 0.
And you were top of class.
Yes. So I was very good at like learning something fast, figuring out what they wanted, and then I could execute. I think part of it is just because I am like super detail oriented, and it was a game to me. I'm like, okay, this is what they're looking for, and I would just study it and figure out what to look for and how to execute it perfectly.
That is so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So it was really fun for me. But yeah, so that there were skills with that, and then also phases where you'd have to like carry hose up the tower, climb an aerial ladder, throw a ladder against the building, and then like advance a hose while water is spraying out of it. So we were tested in all kinds of ways and graded, and then I ended up top of the class in both of them. And I was the first female
With men and women too. Or with
of all
everyone.
all
Are you
the-
That
kidding
is
me,
so cool.
Carly? That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Snaps for
Snaps for that.
Snaps
Yeah.
for Wopat.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
That
it was
is
fun.
insane. I can just see you. Have you seen those videos where it's like they have to run with the ladder?
Yeah.
And they put
The
it up on the
teams?
building.
And
It's like
then-
the window, and then they like have to go to the next one, and
Yes.
then the
Yeah.
next one.
Yeah, no, that's like
Have you done that?
that's top level. That's there's some fire games where they do things for speed like that. That's not what we look like when we're actually at a fire, because that's kind of
It's extreme.
extreme and dangerous, and you're not like scaling a building like that super fast. But you are basically trying to do things as fast and efficiently as possible, and then how well you do can affect so many other parts of the operation on scene. So if you screw up, you can like mess up a lot of things. It's a lot of pressure.
We're back, everybody. We took a short break to discuss pillows.
Pillows.
We're back with Carly Wopat.
Back.
Um,
I have a question.
yes.
Okay.
Speaking about firefighting,
Yes.
what sorts of trauma have you experienced on the job? Are you allowed
Yeah, like
to share
gnarliest
that?
experience.
I can share, but it's like not the kind of stuff you typically want to bring up. But
PG-13. Like that's fair for the
a
viewers.
lot of heart attacks. So I've done a lot of CPR on people, and sometimes there's resuscitation, sometimes there isn't. And that's kind of gnarly because you go into chest compressions and you basically like feel their ribs crack because
You
have
have to break
push-
them, right?
You have to pretty much push so far down into their chest cavity that you can break ribs, and you just start pumping away because you're their heart basically. So
Yeah.
you have to keep blood flow throughout their entire body. There's been a lot of dead on scene. Once you come on scene, people have either passed away from drug overdose. I've seen a lot of drug overdoses, suicides. What else? Just dying from old age too. Sometimes their heart stops. Car accidents, which can be fatal, and we'll have to try to get people out of vehicles sometimes, especially if they're on fire. That can be a very stressful situation. There's been car accidents where parts of bodies were dismembered. So you start to see the human body in a different way, and you kind of have to detach emotionally from it, I think.
How do you detach?
Yeah, I
from
was gonna
those?
ask.
Um,
Like, how were you able to like just, set that aside and,
and go into action.
yeah,
Honestly, it was way easier for me than I thought it would be. I think because when I'm at work and I'm doing what you by the way, you've been trained for every kind of situation. So it's not like you're showing up on scene and
You're like,
you have
whoa,
to
no.
figure out what to do.
Yeah.
yeah,
You have a role and you know what you're supposed to do. It's very structured, at least with the fire department I was with too. So you're trained and you just basically go into action. And I don't know, I was just able to execute. I think part of it is because of my athletic background, and you just perform and do what you need to do when it has to be done. And then I think I'm pretty good at detaching and kind of like compartmentalizing. And then later on, sometimes there were a few calls where I would have to like process a little bit, because I'd be like, oh, that was kind of gnarly. Oh, that's like the first time I saw a human brain. Like just like little things like that. But there's crew members to talk to. There's a lot of emotional support systems, and they're getting really good about mental health, because that is a issue with first responders. But yeah, I feel like in general it was surprisingly not that challenging of a thing for me.
that's nice that they have the resources, or that they're starting to, have people you can talk to, and like you said, people you work with. That's always super helpful. So,
But I think it is a specific type of personality. Like there's people who I've talked to, and they're just like, oh, I would never be able to do that. Like they see blood and they pass out, or
Yeah.
just things they don't want to see it either. You have to know that there's going to be things that you see that you can never unsee, and it's kind of like stuck with you for life, which is kind of tough. But
It's like Grey's Anatomy, sort of.
yeah, yeah, kind of.
Right? I mean, there's some gnarly stuff that happens on that show, but it sounds like you've seen some wild stuff.
yeah. And then I do think in the long run too, it does kind of fascinate me to see that just the extremes of human reality,
Yeah,
Human life.
human life. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's tough. Well, like me personally, I don't think I could do it. I don't pass out to blood. I like, watching an IV get stuck into me. I don't know. It's kind of cool. But like, I feel like I would take all of that. I wouldn't be able to compartmentalize. Yeah, as easily. But yeah, that's cool. Very, very awesome that you did that, and that, you can go back to it, and, you have beach volleyball now though.
Yeah. Beach volleyball is
like on a positive note. I did. Okay.
so much nicer.
Yeah, I did. When you were like, pretending to give someone CPR, and then I noticed your arms, and of course, like, you're so strong and so beautiful, and I find that just like your strength and like all that is very unique, and like probably the strongest female on the AVP. I would, for sure. And so I guess I kind of want to know, like, training wise, what's a typical day or week look like for you? Because I feel like I see you like doing 7 a.m. workouts, and then you're out training on the beach, and then you're out in the gym, you're at the gym, and I just, obviously it's pretty awesome. So I just kind of want to hear more about like what your typical day or week looks like.
Yeah. So my training has varied and kind of like branched out at certain times. So when I was firefighting, for example, I was doing very different types of training. A lot more sort of like CrossFit style stuff, and then tactical things like just carrying heavy odd objects, a lot of pull-ups, like the Murph workout basically is a good example of something I would do.
What is that?
Murph is when you run a mile, and then it's like
And like 100 squats.
100. Oh gosh,
Is it like 100 squats?
I think you
50
start
pull-ups?
with it's a run a mile, 100 pull-ups, 200 air squats, and like 300 push-ups. Then you run a mile, something like that.
My legs are shaking.
I should know, we should know what it is. So
I'm
it's
I'm gonna Google this.
a lot of it is like capacity workouts. So like how much can you do in a certain time of frame? And basically it's kind of counterintuitive to explosive and dynamic stuff you want to do with volleyball. But it was interesting to see my body adapt. And then when it came back into volleyball, I think I definitely, I just like learned a lot more about my body and what I can do. And I got stronger in different ways. And then now I'm back to just volleyball focused training. So a lot of it is speed and power, explosiveness, isometric holds. My program with P3 is broken up. So Monday is a lower body day, and then Tuesday is upper body and core, Wednesday conditioning, and then it repeats. Thursday lower body, Friday upper body and core, and Saturday conditioning. So I can go in the gym and do something every day, which I like doing. And it also allows for more recovery, because I think when I was with the international team previously, and then also playing beach volleyball before and doing like compound full body lifts 3 times a week, it was hard to recover. I just remember my legs being very dead at practices. And right now with the system I have, I think I've just figured out like the perfect thing for me to be able to train in the sand every single day, get the work done in the gym that I need to do, and also get the recovery I need and be explosive and fresh.
I would consider you to be a hybrid athlete. I think that
Hybrid.
yeah, you're just whenever you set your mind to something, I feel like you're
I can
just
go do it.
you just do.
Like if I had to go run like, I don't know, a half marathon right now, I could go do it and probably do decently well.
No,
But I would break.
My
It
knees
would
hurt.
hurt. It would hurt so bad.
Do you want to join a run club with me? Because
No.
everyone, you guys,
I'm not doing it. No way.
yeah, but like it's just incredible what you've been able to do and achieve. And I feel like I think I remember you saying or posting online the week of the AVP in Florida, the last tournament last year. Didn't you do an event in Chicago that same week?
Of the AVP in Florida?
Yeah, you did the AVP event with Megan Rice.
Yes.
That week, just before that tournament, you were
Oh, no, this was before Huntington, I think.
Oh.
What qualified us for Florida.
okay. There you go. Yeah.
I did so this last year, I also got into some fitness competitions, kind of a long story, but I just like fell into it. And the first one I did was Battle Bunker, which is like a military style fitness competition. It was in Chula Vista at the Olympic Training Center. And it was fun to train for. Honestly, I feel like I learned a lot. There's value to doing them because I learned a lot about competing in a different realm. And then I can take what I learned and apply it back into volleyball, which is kind of still my primary goal. And I just discover more of what I'm capable of. It's very individual competition is super mental.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you against yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is going to suck, but I am going to just suffer through it and let's go. Yeah.
What's your self-talk when you're in those moments, like with the combat fitness and all that stuff?
Or just in general, because
Yeah.
obviously, you physically challenge yourself in a lot of different ways. So what does your self-talk look like or
Well,
sound like?
I think you can't, cheat yourself out of preparation. So you know if you're ready or not, and you can't like talk yourself or trick yourself into believing it if you really don't think you're ready. So training appropriately is always a big thing I believe in. And then come competition time, you basically just tell yourself you're the best.
It's just like on loop.
So, on loop. It's like,
I am the best.
I
can do
fastest.
this.
Like I can do this. I can do this. And when for run, we had to do like a 2-mile ruck for the battle bunker, which is when you wear a backpack with weight, and it just hurts. You're running as fast as you can with this weight, and your legs are dying. And a lot of times I'll just my self-talk on loop is yes I can, yes I can, yes I like you just want to stop so bad and sit down on the ground and not keep going, but you got to convince yourself to keep going when you don't want to. So yes I can. Sometimes I'll be like,
What?
I just remember from the show, it was like some children's shows, like "Si se puede."
Yeah, that's Dora the Explorer.
Oh yeah, maybe
Dora
something
the
like that.
Explorer.
Yeah.
Translate
Si se
to,
puede.
we can do this.
I can do
Yes,
this.
I can.
I'll tell
Oh, yes, I
myself
can.
I'm like super fast. Like you're so fast. Go, go, go. And then for strength events, that's kind of where I definitely know I have an edge. And it's basically just like I just go all gas, no brakes, just all out. And you know, in the end, it can't last forever. So it's gonna stop at some point. And I think that's just basically what gives me reassurance. Like, just have to go.
I need to take note of this.
That's impressive.
That's
So
cool.
I think it's been fun to just kind of dive into that. But again, I've had to kind of steer away from that because with volleyball as my priority, it's
Slower.
it's harder to fit those kind of competitions into the mix. This year I'll see if I can, but I'm planning on playing in like as many events as possible.
Mhm.
And there definitely is a recovery time after them. And I think I'd be more or less winging it because I'm not going to train specifically for those. I'm basically just going to play volleyball and do my volleyball training and then go in and see what I can do.
What does recovery look like? What do you do for recovery, or how do you find? Because I know you do ice baths and stuff like that, but kind of what are some important things that you need to do for yourself to make sure that you're recovered?
Not only physically, but also mentally.
Yeah, me time.
Yeah.
All that.
So I've kind of embraced recovery as just as important as the training I do. And I think that's been a good, shift or adjustment for me. And it's hard because sometimes you'll train all day and you just want to go eat and chill at home or watch a movie. I don't know, relax, see friends. And then you have to be like, no, I have to go to the sauna right now and sit and sweat and like kind of die in the sauna and then get in the ice bath, which is also can be really uncomfortable.
You did not show that it was uncomfortable that day that we were doing your shoot.
Mhm.
You went in there, you like chilled out for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That was
So
so awesome.
yeah. So I've pretty much taken on recovery as something that's super important. I do something every day. And I like to do right now I'll go to 24. I have some friends who have 24-hour memberships. So it's fun also to make it like a social thing. So we'll end the day going to 24-hour fitness together, sit in the steam room and just like chat about anything and everything, and then go in the sauna, sit in there for 20 minutes, maybe get in the hot tub or the pool, take showers, and you just feel so relaxed and refreshed.
Had I known, I wouldn't have gotten my Bay Club membership this past weekend. I would have gone over to 24-hour fitness, hanging out with you.
Podcast in the sauna.
We should.
Podcast and sauna.
That would be
It
very
is
steamy
kind
and
of
sweaty. No
steamy.
thanks. Steamy.
It's not the cleanest. There is also a Korean spa that I've discovered in Torrance.
Wait, the Riviera
Riviera.
Health Spa. That
Yes.
place is my jam.
It's my jam.
I
so
love that
I
place.
go there And
You get rubbed down?
I don't
Body
get
scrub.
I haven't gotten a body scrub, but I should get a body scrub. But I'll go there and they like know me. I know they just like know me by now because I go so much. And it's awesome because there's steam room, sauna, hot tub, a cold plunge. And I really love doing contrast between the dry sauna and the cold plunge. Like 10 minutes, it's a super freaking hot sauna. Have the dry one?
Yeah, it's super. Yeah,
It's really
I
hot.
know.
So I can only stay in for like 10 minutes and then I'll get in the cold
It's
plunge. for
getting
5.
hot in here.
Yeah.
It's getting hot in here. And something about the contrast, I think really it stimulates my parasympathetic nervous system. We're getting nerdy here.
I love
And
it.
Yeah.
The Stanford.
Yeah.
Stanford,
Love that.
so,
education's coming in.
yeah, so I tracked my HRV, which is heart rate variability. There's an app on my phone, and basically our HRV is an indicator of how prepared your body is to take on the stressors of the day. And you want it to be in a certain range, but higher is you want more variability because that means you can basically like adapt quicker between different stressors. And when I do contrast, my HRV just skyrockets. So
Oh, wow.
That's
part
so
of it,
interesting.
I think something about it really activates your parasympathetic nervous system. And I'll do breath work in the cold plunge too. And I can just really like get in a zen and meditate, which is also very important, I think. So it's been fun because I feel like I train really hard for the first half of the day. And then now I just like recover hard for the second half. And that's pretty much my daily routine.
You got it? I have a question so coming like
Hold on. I really love that you point your finger up like you're raising your hand.
I need to I want to ask a question.
That's so
Pick on me, please. I want to talk about nutrition with all that stuff because with recovery, how do you fuel yourself after like extreme workout, beach volleyball training, and then how do you fuel?
How do I eat?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm also like a huge nerd when it comes to nutrition, and I'm always writing stuff down and like experimenting and playing with things with diet. In general, I think during the first part of the day, it's hard to eat a big breakfast before practices. So I'll usually have like coffee with collagen and MCT oil and a banana, or I like Perfect bars, the like peanut butter bars. Just so there's something in my stomach. And then I'll train, and I kind of try to backload training with simple carbs and protein. So you usually want like a 4-to-1 ratio of carbs to protein, which can seem like a lot, but you're just restoring all the glycogen in your muscles, which is basically like the glucose, I guess, in your muscles. So I like acai bowls, or I'll eat like honey in a protein shake, or several bananas in a protein shake, just whatever I have on hand after training. Then I go to the gym and work out, and I kind of do the same thing after that. So around training, it's just basically like simple carbs and fruit and protein shakes. That's kind of how I eat during tournaments too, honestly, because we're just competing like back to back to back. So I don't really eat solid food until we're done, or if we have a big break. And
Do you track your calorie intake, your caloric intake?
sometimes I have before. And so I think I've gotten to the point where I can like even keep like a mental track, or just kind of eat intuitively. Like I can tell you like how much fat and protein is in one egg, how many calories of bananas, how many carbs.
So you're like a human, like walking
Encyclopedia.
My Fitness Pal. You are my Fitness Pal.
Yeah, I am your fitness pal.
How many calories are in a banana, and what's the fat in egg?
What's the fat egg?
Yep, putting you on the spot right here.
Yeah, like regular banana is probably like 100 to 120 calories.
She's gonna write this down.
And it's just like 20 grams of carbohydrate. Let's see what else.
I love that you know this so
And then
much.
an egg is 5 grams of fat, 7 grams of protein.
What about like, do you keep track of Like how much protein are you supposed to be having every day?
A day.
Yeah.
That's always, see, I'm always asking questions too, because I'll try eating one way and then I'll be like, I don't know if this is right. Honestly, I still don't know half the things I'm doing, and I'm always questioning what I'm doing. So sometimes it can, it's kind of tough, but I think through like asking questions and experimenting, you just continually figure things out that work for you. But I don't know. At this point, I just kind of try to space protein out because it is essential for muscle synthesis and just like repairs and recovery. So I think as long as you have protein in your system, that process is happening. So like having a protein shake before practice, or like 20 grams of protein and then 20 grams after, and then making sure you get like some type of meat or solid protein, and then 2 hours later the same, 2 or 3 hours later the same thing.
What brand of protein powder do you use for your shakes?
I use all kind. Honestly, I use a lot of different brands. There's one brand sent me some protein powder. It's called NG Nutra, and I like it a lot.
We're gonna plug that in.
Huh?
We're gonna plug it in for you.
Plug it in. Nice. Yeah, I'm actually not that picky as long as it tastes good.
Yeah.
I'll drink like whey
Vanilla
protein
or chocolate.
vegan protein.
Yeah.
That is a good question. I used to be vanilla, but now I'm chocolate.
Oh,
I'm vanilla all the way.
same.
Yeah.
Vanilla bean.
Vanilla bean, everything.
Absolutely. Sometimes some powders just like hurt my stomach, or they're just too chalky. You know, and then, like you got to blend it in, and you can't use a shaker
Instead of just
bottle.
shaking.
Yeah.
That's tough. What
Yeah.
about a cheat meal?
Ooh.
Yeah, like your favorite cheat day meal.
So actually weekends, by the time the weekends hit, I'm usually pretty tired.
You got really excited about that also.
Usually pretty tired, and my body hurts. Like every part of my body hurts. So I recover also on the weekends. And I eat a lot of the things that whatever I want, really. I like burgers and burritos and sushi. I'm not a big sweets person. I'm more of like
Savory.
That's
savory.
true, unless
Yeah.
you give her a cinnamon roll.
Cinnamon. I like cinnamon rolls. I do like cinnamon rolls. But I just think it's fun to like go. I'm kind of a foodie, so I like to go out to eat and try different restaurants and get whatever looks good to me. So yeah, that's like this last weekend I had Saturday. What did I have? I had like a panini at a bakery on Pier. When I was at that tournament, I went and got, and then I walked to Manhattan and I got a burger at Simsey's, and then I walked back and I don't know, I went somewhere else. I think
That's
I
like
had
3
I had a
miles.
drink.
Hey, is this a recovery day?
Yeah,
Because
I
like
had-
from pier to pier, that's at least 3
I had
miles.
some drinks at Tower.
There we go.
Okay.
For the Super Bowl.
And then yesterday, Super Bowl, I went out on Pier again, and I ate like a pizza and had some beverages. So I really just, I'm like trying to make mindful choices, but really just kind of eat what.
Can
I
you invite me next time to your food extravaganza? Because I would
I
love
love
to
eating.
join.
Yes,
Sounds
yeah.
amazing.
It's fun. I just like to like hop around from restaurant to restaurant or bar to bar and eat.
You're like, wow, this smells great. I'm going to go here. I'm going to try that and eat this. But then along the way, you're walking all your miles.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's like
Yeah.
bar
It's like
hopping.
a
but
good.
for
I'll
food.
listen to podcasts.
Great
You
for
listen-
di-
I'll listen to
great for
this
digestion.
podcast.
You listen
Yeah.
to our podcast?
Actually, I listened to April's.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Before this, because I was like, well, first of all, I wanted to hear what April Ross had to say.
Oh yeah.
And then I wanted to see what the podcast was like.
Well, welcome. I mean, we're doing it. I'm getting a lot of DMs about like, oh, this is my new thing that I'm doing while I'm cleaning. I'm listening to the podcast. And whoever I'm approaching, I'm like, have you listened to the podcast? They're like, no. And I'm like, why? This is amazing. Join the group. Bet on her, you guys. Let's go.
Yeah. I love it. That all sounds great.
I'm hungry.
I know, me too.
I'm gonna go for some fries, some drinks. I'm just kidding. I saw that you have I looked at your website, your Carly Wopat website.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I did. I gave it a little read, and I wanted to ask you, what is the Carly Wopat mentality of all in? What's your interpretation of it? Because you kind of get into it with your on your
Of
website
all in.
of all in. Yeah. What's your philosophy on it?
Philosophy is basically whatever you are doing or pursuing in life. You gotta just attack it and go all in. I think a lot of times it can be like for fire, for example. There were things that were scary about it. I was stepping outside of my comfort zone. I had to walk away from volleyball for a little bit, which was also very uncomfortable because it was like a huge part of my identity, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to train while doing it. It was just tough. But I had to go all in on this to really see what I could do in this arena. Otherwise, you're just cutting yourself short.
What drew you to firefighting?
Huh?
What drew you to that occupation?
I think with professional sports, I feel like there's a lot I can do in terms of impact, like inspiring and empowering, and even coaching. I haven't even gotten into coaching that much yet. I've been very focused on my own game, but eventually I do want to coach a lot more. But I still feel like there's so much left of me to give to the world, and I was frustrated because I'm like, I just don't feel entirely fulfilled. And then when I discovered firefighting, I felt like it just encompassed everything else I had to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also took a lot of inspiration and purpose in being a female, honestly, because it is a profession where it's very male dominant and there's not a lot of females who can do the job. And I really want to go out there and just change minds, especially guys who have this predisposed perspective that like females can't do it. Well, I can show you that we can. And then
she said bet.
Snaps to that.
She said
That's a good
bet.
answer.
Bad. Bleep.
And yeah, you're literally just you are the change. You're not talking about it. You're going out there and you're doing it and showing what can be done. So I took a lot of inspiration in that, and then also just inspiring other females to go for it and be gutsy, take a bet on yourself.
This is literally the definition
Yep.
of bet on her. You guys,
Yeah.
I love this.
This is so awesome. Yeah.
But you can't do it unless you go all in. And that's what's tough all the times. If you're like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, you're never really going to see what you're truly capable of. You have to be willing to like full body dive into whatever you're pursuing.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Chills. Goosebumps.
So, Carly,
Yes.
we like to end the podcast with, I mean, you've already mentioned it earlier, but how do you take a bet on yourself, or how have you taken a bet on yourself?
Well, I am doing it right now by pursuing a professional beach volleyball full time again. As all of you know, it's a tough sport to do that in, but we're out there every day grinding, and I don't know, I'm definitely inspired by everybody I'm playing against and practicing with every day. And my goal or intention is hopefully to get to the Olympics one day. So that's what I'm aiming for, taking a bet on myself by fully investing in it and going all in, and just doing what I can do every day to get 1% better. I know Dana loves.
I love that. I love that saying of 1% better. I just talked to you about it like this past weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has stayed with me ever since we did that shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Being 1% better every
It's
single
funny
day.
because even days where you feel like you made a little dip, you're actually getting 1% better too, because sometimes you just need that awareness of like, oh, this is something I actually really need to work on. And then you wouldn't have known unless you had that little dip, and then you can go back to practice and get even better the next time around. So you just have to go out there. And I think you learn the most also through action, not thinking about what you want to do, but going and doing it. So just go practice, and take notes. And
Yeah, I mean,
Figure it out.
no journey is like just up, right? There's
No.
ebbs and flows, there's plateaus. You feel like you're getting worse before you get better. So that's just like the natural process of any athlete, any person that's trying to pursue something at the highest level. So.
Yep.
Do you have anything to add? You?
Me? No, I think just listening to you really speak about your way of how you go about things, it's very motivating. So I hope the listeners will maybe read into it, but you do some challenging things, and to hear kind of why you do it, it's empowering. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
We are excited to have you here. And
Yeah.
it was really cool for you to share your firefighting experience, because I think I've always wanted to know, and I've seen the clips and stuff. So thank you for sharing. It's been
welcome.
Yeah,
super
thanks for
fun.
coming on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. I feel like I have so much more I could
Yeah, I
talk
wish-
about.
Yeah.
too.
I wish we
So
could
fun.
hold this for like 2 hours. I feel like maybe we need 2 to 3 hours with a lot of our guests.
Yeah, but we're just gonna have to have you come back.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Yes, I'll come back.
Yeah.
For sure.
Awesome.
Thank you everyone for your time, for your stories, for your involvement and your support. And thank you, Carly, for agreeing to come here.
Yeah, thank
guys.
you.
Happy Galentine's Day to everyone that's listening and to my crew here. Yeah. And this is the Bet on Her podcast. Have a great day, everyone.
And cut.
Cut.
Boom.
Boom.